$250 out of savings.
Okay. All right, we're recording and we're live on YouTube.
All right. Hey, Sam. Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you. I'm stepping in for Dan today. He had an appointment.
No problem. All right, we have a quorum, everybody, so we'll go ahead and start with roll call. We are live streaming. So Mr. Mike Davis. Thank you, sir. Mr. Kevin Freitas.
Hi, Kevin Freitas here.
Thank you. Mr. Quesada.
Hi, I'm at Quesada here.
Thank you. So we do have a quorum. Matt, please be on the lookout for Ms. Gonzalez. She'll probably log in, and possibly Ms. McNeely as well.
Yep.
And Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right, everybody. Next item is the approval of the agenda and previous minutes. These were emailed to you last week. The agenda was from October 22nd, 2025, which is today's meeting, and the agenda was last month's meeting, September 17th. They also being shared on your screen right now. But again, you should have had an opportunity to preview them. And if anybody has any questions, please let us know.
If there's no questions, I wanted to make a motion to accept the minutes and the agenda for the day.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Quesada, for the motion. Thank you, Mr. Davis, for that second. And seeing no opposition, the motion has unanimously carried. So thank you for that. The next item is open forum. I am currently in Albuquerque, or in Bernalillo, actually, at a student nutrition training, but my team is there at the school. I do not see anybody in the office there. Can you confirm that, Matt?
There's nobody in the office and there's nobody in the online waiting room.
Okay, so we do not have open forum for today's meeting. So the next item is discussion and action on fiscal. Miss Priscilla Cabral.
All right, good morning, everyone. So I'm pulling up the budget report now. This also was previously shared with you all to review. So if you'll, we're reporting for September 2025, which is the first fiscal quarter that we've completed for the year. As you'll see, some of these funds are being marked in green, meaning that they're almost completely spent down. So that's good news, especially like for our fund 24176, which did expire in September. We did completely spend that down with a balance of 12 cents. So that is there for you all to review. I do want to make note that going forward, beginning with the budget reports for October 2025, we are going to be breaking out budget by function rather than budget as a whole for each fund, similar to like what we're presenting in the visual budget report. Since we're required to not over budget by function, I think presenting the function balances by fund would actually be more relevant information for the board to allow Sendero to anticipate any bars that we may need to process if anything is over budget at the function level. All right, moving on to our detail for September revenue. We did see revenue for some RFRs beginning the fiscal year, student fees and student nutrition, as well as our operational SCG. Our revenue for the month of September 2025 is $290,000 and $290,000. And the right side of our revenue chart shows our RFRs, or revenue pending. And that is coming in at about $101,000. Does anyone have any questions over revenue or pending revenue? All right, I'll move on to September disbursements. If you'd like to go through each of these disbursements, you're more than welcome to. That's all in the Google Drive folder. Totaling disbursements for September 2025 are $290,993. And then I'll go into our visual data. So as you'll see here, we have broken this out by function level. We don't seem to be over budget in any of those functions that we are currently utilizing in our fiscal year 26 budget. Moving on to reimbursable funds, you'll see where I said that 24176, our Perkins redistribution budget, has been entirely spent down. And then it's kind of going the same for the remaining of our RFR funds, where I feel we're at a good point in this year as far as spend down and encumbrances to really get those at a zero balance, hopefully by the end of June. And this is our small revenue comparison from September last year to this year. You'll see there was an increase from last year we had a little more revenue. And the reasoning for that is because we did submit our RFR for the last ESSER CARES funding. So that was quite a large RFR that we had come in for fiscal year 25. And that's the reason for that increase last year. Does anyone have any questions on the budget as presented before we move on to action items? Great. So I'm going to pull up the draft finance policies and procedures. These were also sent to the board prior to this meeting in order to review. Again, it is an update of our finance policies and procedures, which were last revised in May 2013. So while there were updates and some additions, they're not much different than the processes and controls that we've already implemented at this point in the year. But again, if there are any questions or if there is any clarification that we can provide on any of these, please let me know. Okay, moving on to the bars. There's quite a few for the board to approve this month, just because, like I said, it is the end of the first fiscal quarter. So as you'll see, we were processing maintenance bars, some transfer bars, and a couple increases in initial budgets for specific funds. So you'll see the first three bars are first two, sorry. Idea B, Fund 24106. These are maintenance bars. Like I said, we need to make sure we cover budget by function. And this was a maintenance bar to cover specifically like life insurance. And then the second for a SLP contract for the year.
Sorry, Priscilla, can I interrupt?
Yes.
Does Ms. Gonzalez typically do it from a phone called iPhone? That just says iPhone, Mr. Martinez?
Yes, she
Okay,
does.
I'm going to admit her now. So.
All right, so I'll move on to the next bar, which is bar 12. It's also a maintenance bar. This is in the expiring 2417 fund. It was a budget adjustment to cover some supplies and materials that were initially placed in supply assets. So we did process a maintenance bar for $260.
Hey, Ms. Gonzalez, is that you?
It sure is. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. My apologies for the tardiness.
That's okay. Priscilla's in the middle, going through her presentation right now. She did inform the board at the beginning that moving forward, beginning next month, we're going to present by function and not just fund.
Oh, perfect. Wonderful.
So, moving on to bar number 13, another maintenance bar. This one is in Fund 27502, our Perkins Next Gen fund. Again, this is just maintenance to cover some additional compensation and benefit lines specifically for staff members that we are planning to issue additional compensation for duties beyond contract time. The next one is a transfer bar, and transfer bars are processed when we have functions over budget that we need to move budget from one function to another. So this transfer is from function 2000, which is support services, to cover additional benefit or additional compensation and benefits for these staff members. The next one is our bar number 15, a maintenance bar, Fund 31600. Just maintenance to add budget to our maintenance and repair of the buildings, grounds and land improvements. Next one is Fund 31703, bar number 16, maintenance, again, for the same budget line as the previous one, for maintenance and repair of buildings and or grounds. Bar number 17 is an increase to Fund 24190. This was our fiscal year 24 carryover that we were actually allowed to budget for indirect costs as we plan to go through the year and issue those student internship stipends. So this is adding that entire carryover into an indirect cost rate, which the charter would get back at the time the fund is fully spent down. Next one is also an increase bar for Fund 24154. Again, this is a carryover amount in the fund, about $6,800. So we have planned to get that all spent down with some of the work that we have in place with PBL Works. The next one is also a carryover amount, which is an increase for bar number 19 in Fund 24189. So we utilize this with our contract with FYI in order to provide those services to our student community. So it is all one budget line, and it is a small amount, $477. The last one I have is an initial budget bar. We were finally approved in our application for innovation zones, Fund 27552, bar number 20. The budget in this fund is to include a 1.0 FTE for our work-based learning coordinator, as well as his benefits, student internship payments, staff PD, a professional closet allotment, and 2 coordinator stipends and benefits for implementation of the work-based learning internship summer program.
And Priscilla, can I mention that we're particularly grateful to the grant managers and to my staff and the entire school community for continuing to receive the Innovative Zones funds. As you can see, it's a pretty large amount there, you know, $200,000 for this year. So many schools, many districts, LEAs or you know, charters or just individual district schools around the state did get denied this fund. There may be actually an opportunity for more above that $200,000 later on, because I think there is some leftover funding that potentially could open up. But as mentioned, many others did not receive this, and they were, you know, kind of doing similar work that we're doing. But the way the application was written and the things that we're doing day to day did allow us to get approved. So, you know, it's a really big deal. We were kind of, you know, not necessarily depending on this fund, but it certainly helps out and allows us to be a little more flexible and really move forward with our vision of creating, you know, that CTE school-wide environment. And we are now looking further ahead even and beyond this year. and looking at different sources or advocating for in different areas so we can have sustained work-based learning, internship, CTE funding, so we do not have to, depend on a competitive grant year to year to continue to operate and fulfill our mission and our vision. So I just wanted to add a little bit to context to that fund right there.
So if there are any questions about the fiscal reports as presented or any of the action items, I can answer them now. If not, that's all I have for fiscal.
Okay, does anybody have any specific questions over any of those items? I know Priscilla went through those very thoroughly and provided a very good summary. So there may not be, but if there is, we will have answers.
I transferred it.
Okay, if no questions, we can entertain a motion for action items 4B, the updated financial policies and procedures, and the bars as presented by Ms. Cabral.
Is there a motion?
Madam Chairman, I so move to protect the board's financial report.
Thank you, Mr. Davis, for the motion.
I'll second it. No one seconded it yet.
Thank you, Mr. Quesada, for that second.
All right, seeing no opposition, motion carried.
Thank you all very much, Madam President, members of the board. We appreciate that. Okay, the next item is the superintendent's report. There is one action item which we'll get to in item E there. But first, as always, we'll start with enrollment. This one's a little more specific because between our last meeting in September and today's meeting, we did have the 40th day snapshot. So that window had passed there, and we did have 202 students at 40th day. So we did get over the 200 mark, but we didn't quite meet our projected enrollment, which was 213. So we did fall short there by 11 students. So we will see what sort of impact that could have on our overall operating budget. We won't know that until probably closer to January or even February. Since then, we have enrolled, I've been out of the building for a couple of days, but last time I was there, 10 students since we've been back from fall break, but we did lose 4 for, different reasons. As you know, the mobility rate is a factor in our enrollment. Traditionally, that's just the way it is, being a school that serves the population that we serve. So we'll keep everybody up to date on enrollment by, monthly as always, and then whatever impact that little shortfall that we had not meeting our 213 number, obviously we'll let you guys know when and if an adjustment is made by NMPED, the Budget Bureau. Okay, next item is work-based learning update. Start this off by a little story. When we came back from fall break, the students had a full week off and an additional 2 days where the staff was doing professional development, and there was a remote learning day as well. So when we came back on the Wednesday of that second week, there was a student that was not expected to be at work. She works in her work-based learning experience at a dentist office until 9 a.m. But she wanted me to take her at about 7:45 so she could make sure and be there at 8 and put in an extra hour because she wanted to be there when the office opened up and be involved in all of the prep work before the patients started coming in. She does assist the dental hygienist technician. And those dentists there, she works for 3 of them. They are actually encouraging her to go beyond a dental hygienist and look into actually becoming a dentist. So again, that's just one specific story or example, and there are many like that. And I know Matt let me know about a construction, specifically a concrete company that is partnering with us, and we place a student with this individual. And Matt, can you go and tell that story?
Yes, we have a student that all he's missing right now for graduation requirements is that internship piece to fill his final credit. So he goes to the internship in the morning, and he's kind of like a typical senior where they don't have a full schedule. But this employer was so impressed with the student that he offered to pay the student. So we're covering the 8 hours of internship. He offered to cover the other 32 hours a week to make this student a full-time employee of his as of starting this week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and there are, I mean, that's definitely a really special kind of scenario there, but we're working on a plan eventually to present to industry partners where they will do similar, not 32 hours most likely, but do something similar and pick up a few hours a week potentially, you know, in the future to kind of help fund and continue this program that we see working, you know, very well. So again, kind of the vision that we had a few years ago of turning, you know, our school into a CTE school that provides relevant, you know, instruction and opportunity for students, we're seeing it day to day with stories like that. So we're excited at the school level. Again, we're constantly working on different funding sources. We're working on how to, I guess, blend the instructional day and prepare these, you know, the younger students for these opportunities that the seniors are now getting, and then expanding that to the junior level, and then doing some job shadowing at the sophomore and freshman level, and continue to build our project-based learning program that's, you know, for one large project is tied to CTE, for the other large project is more connected to content, but they're both blended in both projects. So we've got a lot to improve on, a lot to figure out, a lot to work on. Everybody in the building is doing that and you know, giving their efforts and their energy into making these improvements and making sure our vision is met, so we can provide those opportunities for these kids for the, you know, that was reflected in those 2 stories that we just told you. Mr. Quesada, did you have we placed the student with you yet? Is that, I believe so, right?
Yes. No, I actually have a student here. She's 4th day, I believe, here, and it's great. Her enthusiasm into her goals and everything actually worked very well with my agency's goals and all, to the point that she'll actually be working at least another 16 to 20 hours on my own budget, especially like on Friday and stuff when she's completely off.
Yeah.
But in the discussions that I've had with her, my goal is by hopefully December, she'll actually be taking on another course to actually get licensed, because she qualifies for it, to actually become a producer and be able to sell her own policies through Farmers with me. So
Amazing.
that's my goal with her, and she's on board with it. So she's actually even coming back later on in the afternoons after school to work with us to learn some more and everything. So it's going really good. And then we had another agent who heard about it, and I think she's taking on one of the students. And then we had another one who's asking about how does this work, because they would love to do some. So
Awesome.
I'm excited about it on our side.
Yep. Great news. Thank you for that update. And thank you for being an industry partner as well as a board member. Really appreciate that, Mr. Quesada. All right. Next item is professional development. Again, we had a couple of days of PD recently. And we've also had, you know, continuing and ongoing support for our project-based learning through PBL Works. If you remember at the beginning of the year, we did a introductory session in Hatch that we combined with the Hatch Public Schools with on culturally and linguistically responsive training. So basically all that means is getting to know and understand the students and where they're coming from, what their culture is, what their background is, kind of how they were raised, and then whatever behaviors they exhibit, using that understanding to respond to a individual or a specific situation, other than just a punitive response. So there's some restorative practices involved in there, but really it's about validating, affirming, building and bridging, the student and their behaviors with the adults in the building and with other students as well. So we did a more intimate kind of phase 2 of that training last week with Dr. Hawley, who's the foremost, researcher and trainer in this area. So he was in our building. And we also, in addition, have committed on NMPED's invitation and their funding, more intense CLR coaching with Dr. Hawley and his staff, where they come in and provide actual coaches to 6 to 10 of our instructors, and do site visits. And I feel this is really important because especially it really aligns to everything that we're trying to do, and making sure that, that we respond to every student in an appropriate way that will help them, develop their social, emotional, academic, and soft skills, in a way that would not discourage them. So we'll keep everybody updated on that, but just know that PBL, project-based learning, and CLR training will be ongoing focus throughout the year. And, I can envision it being a focus of our development, the next few years as well. Okay, next item is required state assessment and performance framework testing. That's actually happening tomorrow. The 10th graders will be testing on the PSAT assessment, and the 11th and 12th graders will be testing on ACT's worksheets, which is part of our performance framework. Ms. Sam is on the line with us right now, supporting us, and she was really key. If you remember last year when we were going through our renewal and getting this through our contract and approved by the Public Education Commission, because this is a more relevant assessment for our students that is tied to career skills and work skills development. So I'm really curious and excited to see what comes out of our beginning of year testing. This is a short cycle assessment. It will be administered 2 more times after tomorrow to all 11th and 12th graders. And it is, again, tied to our performance framework testing. It is going to be evaluated through that contract. And hopefully we are able to show growth or show proficiency in that test, so we can, get good evaluation, get a good evaluation piece in that performance framework that we agreed with the Public Education Commission. Sam, Matt, do you guys have anything to add to that?
I don't. This first round of testing, like Mr. Martinez said, is our baseline testing. This is what will set that baseline for growth going forward. So we can score points based off the rubric, either through growth or proficiency. We've already talked with the students and let them know the importance of this test and what it means to the school, and kind of explain very basic levels of what the PEC is and how that works.
I don't have anything to add per se. I'm just particularly excited that you're getting to this point. We worked so incredibly hard on your performance framework, and I'm like, yes. Just,
Right.
knowing that you're doing your baseline testing. You're there. It's great.
Yes, we are. We are. Yeah, we did work incredibly hard on that. And then in Mr. Estrada in particular, and Ms. Salas, who's been, helping him do test coordinating duties, have been working really hard because the ACT work keys is not very user-friendly so far. Maybe it's just because we're really new at doing it and we haven't done it before. But it's required a lot of time, effort, and energy. And again, that administration is happening tomorrow. So I'm sure hopefully once we administer it the first time, it'll be a little easier moving forward. But yeah, it was a lot of hard work getting to this point. It's a lot of hard work getting ready to administer it. And yeah, I'm just really excited to see what the results are and see, it's going to let us know what we need to do and improve on to get our students prepared for, career in these high demand, high wage, high skill careers that we're trying to get them prepared for and get an opportunity to do. The other one, the PSAT is actually required for us this year. There's a new rule by NMPED. If you're in a school improvement category, then you have to give this test to your 10th graders. Before it was optional. For us now it is not, but that's okay. It'll give those kids a preview of what they will be taking their junior year as far as the SAT. So again, all that is happening tomorrow. The 10th graders are in one area, of the building with test administrators. The 11th and 12th graders will be at a different area with different test administrators. And at the same time, we'll be taking these 2 different assessments at these 3 different grade levels, and we will let you know how that goes. Okay, next item, and it is our only action item on this superintendent's report. There's a water safety guidance policy that is required per state statute that we need to approve. Mr. Dan Hill really helped us in drafting this, and Mr. Sandoval was the one who revised what Mr. Hill provided us to more fit our Las Cruces community. So Matt, if you want to kind of give us a little summary of this before we take the votes.
Yeah, so like Mr. Martinez said, it is a requirement this year. It was passed in a bill during last legislative session that all LEAs must provide water safety guidance to the students and family. So what this is really, it's just best practices for water safety for parents, and then guidelines and suggestions for water safety courses or training for families in the community. So working with some of the suggestions Dan Hill had, just really making this policy relevant for our local community. So it offers a few different training resources for the parents, and then best practices around water.
And then especially like with localized flooding and stuff like that, there are different tips and things to be aware of. Again, this information is widely shared across governments, I believe. But the legislators wanted schools to get involved in the safety of its students through this policy, and that's anytime we can provide any information to our students that will help keep them more safe, is obviously we're all for that.
One quick question, was this compared to other schools? It's almost the same thing that they're putting out there. I mean, we're not reinventing the wheel, but kind of covered all angles also.
So we had some examples from some Albuquerque area schools, which gave us kind of a general outline and kind of the state expectations along with those schools and our lawyer Dan Hill's recommendations. And then their policy was really just adapted to meet the resources that our community offers compared to Albuquerque. So just making it more relevant for our community.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, if there are no other questions about our water safety guidance policy, we can entertain a motion to accept the policy as written.
Mr. Chairman, I so move to pass as written.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Davis, for making that motion to accept the water safety guidance policy.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Quesada, for that second. Ms. Gonzalez?
Seen. No opposition. Motion carried. I almost forgot.
Thank you. You got it. All right, our last item, Ms. Gonzalez, thank you so much for this reminder, and I will have it on here every month now, is board training. We just want to make sure that we all get our hours, you know, by the end of the year. Mr. Davis, per usual, is going to attend the Public Charter Schools of New Mexico Annual Conference. That's happening December 11th and December 12th. Here, actually, where I'm at currently right now in Bernalillo. So he's already registered and signed up for that. That opportunity is open to any of you. If you want to do that and get your training that way at a conference and, you know, live in-person sessions, you may do so. There are other options as well, including Canvas classes where you go through, I think Mr. Freitas does this every year, where you go through an online course and get your training hours. There are options where it's like Zoom meetings or you know, video conference trainings that happen. And then there's, you know, other conferences as well. So however y'all want to do that, please let me know. I need to get those opportunities to you more frequently. But just know if you're interested in the PCSNM conference, December 11th and 12th in Bernalillo, then let me know and we'll get you registered and get the logistics going for that opportunity. So, Ms. Gonzalez, do you have anything to add to that?
No, you know what? Go ahead and sign me up for the in-person conference.
Okay, December 11th and 12th?
Yeah, I think I'll be able to go to this one. I don't know if I'll be able to go to the one next, you know, June, but I
Yeah.
usually do mine on Canvas, but I do want to attend this year. So let's do that. And
Okay,
then we just need to make sure our new board member does the new board member training, which is a little different, pretty similar, but it's a little bit different in criteria.
correct. Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, sounds good. Everyone else, just let me know as, you know, time goes on, there's still chance or opportunity for you to go to the one in December if you're not sure today, and in a few weeks or, you know, sometime in November, you know, your calendar opens up or you are free to do so, you can still let me know at that time. Otherwise, I'll share other opportunities with you to get that training accomplished.
And that's December 11th and 12th, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna look into it.
All right. That is all I have, everybody. We can now adjourn, Ms. Gonzalez.
Right? We don't have to make a motion to adjourn, right? We can just adjourn.
Correct.
All right. All right, let's adjourn, everybody. Let's get back to
Okay.
working.
Yes.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks,
Thank
Sam.
you.
Take care.
See you. All right, Mr. Davis. Okay, we'll talk to you later. Bye. What's up? What's up? You guys good?
Yeah, I just muted because I was ending the recording and live streaming. So
Okay.
we're still live streaming right now.
Oh, we are.
Yep. We just end the meeting like normal, right? Just hit end.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
All
do
right.
that.
Okay.